name is Mel Bernstein, and they call me the most armed man in America. I have over 4,000 weapons in my name, over 200 machine guns. I have mortars, bazookas, tanks, half-tracks, attack jeeps, flamethrower, and everything I have is legal in the state of Colorado. This is the front door at Dragoman's, my gun store. Right now, you're not a trespasser, you're a...
I'm proud to say that is definitely one model American citizen. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of WeAreChange.org. Happy July 4th, a day whose historical accounts probably triggers a bunch of people, but hey, that's their problem. Today, also, ironically, is the birthday of WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange, who, by the way, has been punished and prosecuted for over a decade, is still in a jail cell under solitary confinement for the horrible crimes of actual journalism, which now has led this non-American citizen in yet another frivolous extradition trial to the United States. Remember, freedom can't exist where we don't have the free press, and some people argue that we have already reached that critical point, and with the case of Julian Assange, there's definitely an argument to make there. Now, lots to talk about in this video. Specifically, I wanted to talk about the absolutely draconian new Facebook messages in relation to, of course, the latest updates about the story of the decade that many billionaires and media establishment elites want to go away. Now, just jumping into the latest news topics, we got this absolutely horrifying, almost apocalyptic footage coming from, of course, the Gulf of Mexico, where a state-owned oil company burst a pipeline, causing this insane footage that you're about to see happen. Even though this is a state-owned company, a lot of people are blaming capitalism for this and have failed to understand what state-owned oil company actually means. In related disaster news, we have the Biden administration still flip-flopping on many very important issues, essentially doing the bidding of the billionaire multinational corporations and banking interests, while their main henchman or puppet literally looks dazed and confused and was literally caught checking his notes when he was asked a question by a reporter that asked him about Russia. Yes, nothing restores your faith in government like this man who many times acts like he doesn't know where he is, who's also given access to nuclear weapons. This as tensions between Russia and the United States are escalating at very dangerous grand proportions, and there definitely should be more of a conversation around this since the Biden administration has been making very aggressive actions against Russia. Russia is retaliating, and the current state of Russian-American diplomacy could be described with what's happening right now as Russian warplanes are practicing bombing enemy ships right now in the Black Sea during a training mission, while the United States and NATO conduct similar training missions also in the same region. These are simultaneously very large exercises, a huge show of force demonstration, and by and large, a saber rattle attempt trying to scare one another. And while that's happening, the Biden administration is deciding to put on a quote woke and divisive celebration of July 4th, deciding to sing the Black national anthem and to celebrate the fact that Juneteenth is now also a federal holiday. But hey, this is America. Celebrate how you want. Freedom is the answer no matter what the question is. I just wish there was, a little bit more of that freedom, that, would be available. But hey, that's my personal choice and preference and what I personally stand behind as represented by this independent media organization, which is sustained through your support. And one very easy way to support us is by checking the many different products and companies that we work with. One of them is safepreparedandready.com. If you're looking for an easy, viable way to have a whole bunch of storable food, this is definitely the product for you. Lasts you over 25 years. They have a great selection of products. I like them. I personally use them. I think they're tasty, especially for camping trips. If you're interested in them, safepreparedandready.com is the place where you need to go. The link is down in the description below. Click it right now. And we don't just talk the talk, we also walk the walk here, as we're going to be doing a survival self-defense training seminar this Saturday, July 17th. Tickets are going fast. Make sure to get yours before they sell out, and they most likely will be selling out. Tickets will also be increasing in price later down the line. Now, in related dystopian news that goes against every core principle of freedom and personal responsibility, a lot of people over the weekend got very strange and concerning messages from Facebook warning them that they have been exposed to, quote, harmful extremists. I'm not kidding you. I got this message, as you can see here on my phone, and the message reads very clearly saying, quote, Luke, you may have been exposed to harmful extremist content recently. Violent groups try to manipulate your anger and disappointment. You can take action now to protect yourself and others. Get support from experts, spot the signs, understand the dangers of extremism, and hear from people who escaped violent groups. Get support. The social media app that is closely connected to intelligence agencies and other ongoing government operations also asked users if they know someone who is, quote, becoming an extremist. This is also happening as many people described Facebook creating an Orwellian environment that at the same time is, quote, arbitrarily silencing and banning people for saying something that the thought police don't like. Now you add this on top of this very vague generalized pop-up that came up, makes you really wonder what the people at Facebook are thinking. When you did click on the link, you didn't get an explanation of exactly what you should be looking out for, what groups, what person, what individual you should be careful of. There was no direct examples. The link took you to a website that's called lifeafterhate.org. Many news organizations have inquired what is determined as harmful and extremist. Facebook has yet officially responded to those direct inquiries, which in part is also creating a chilling effect for a lot of people that Facebook already arbitrarily punishes for expressing political opinions, legal political opinions that some of their moderators dislike at certain times. Facebook definitely has selective judgment when it comes to a lot of its policies that they have implemented before, especially when it comes to destroying speech. Now, the organization that Facebook linked many people to, what's their past, what's their history, who's on their board? Well, I still haven't had time to do the adequate amount of research to provide an informed opinion on this organization or what they do. But by and large, what Facebook is doing here definitely is a troubling sign to many people, especially in our current modern day political climate where people are getting canceled, prosecuted, demonetized, and deleted for expressing the wrong political opinions that are absolutely legal. The Babylon Bee had a very interesting take on this with their fake satirical headline that read, quote, Facebook warns anyone attending 4th of July fireworks that they may have been exposed to extremist activity. And if we honestly want to take a look at extremism in this country, I don't think it involves a granny going into the Capitol and taking a selfie of herself. I think it does involve, literally, people beating the crap out of protesters that are protesting the normalizing of a dude showing his dong to children, violently attacking press and other concerned members of the public, as Antifa just did in Los Angeles, as they attacked people for people protesting what just recently happened at a female-only steam room in Los Angeles. I don't know, attacking people, harassing them, beating them, intimidating, scaring them because they don't want a guy showing their dong to children is extremism to me. The huge amount of violence that we have seen on the streets of Chicago as 15 people are shot, 6 fatally, just in the last 2 days. That to me is extremism. That, of course, is always swept under the rug, never really talked about, as the mayor of that city says that any criticism towards her is because of racism and sexism. I'm sorry, that seems like very harmful behavior. Artificial intelligence overlords firing people because their productivity quota isn't high enough for the big, massive, multinational, corporate, conglomerate monopoly that is known as Amazon, that is working hand in hand with government. That to me is very extreme and harmful to the general public. The Biden administration building up the coffers of and hardware of the police state in this country definitely seems extreme. Trying to make medical procedures for every single person in this country mandatory is also absolutely extreme. Governments eviscerating your personal liberties and freedoms, quarantining the healthy is extreme. And from an honest, healthy, objective point of view, what the government does and the mainstream media makes excuses for is absolutely extremist behavior that hurts and is absolutely harmful to the majority of the general public. One of the biggest, most extreme examples of harmful behavior by the federal government was, of course, their participation in the larger extortion and trafficking ring of small children that they conducted for over 30 years with Mr. Epstein and Miss Ghislaine Maxwell, who right now is trying to use the Bill Cosby excuse in order to get all of her charges dropped and out of jail, as her lawyers are arguing that Ghislaine Maxwell is in a, quote, similar situation to Bill Cosby and deserves to have many of her charges dropped. This is as we are still waiting for the unsealment of many important documents that will be involving the Clintons in just a few days from now. We're following that story very closely. And now, members of Bill Cosby's legal team are joining the legal team of Jeffrey Epstein to protect Keith Raniere in his cases that, of course, are going to be coming up very soon. Also in the news, Jeffrey Epstein's 7,500-acre New Mexico ranch is going up for sale for $27.5 million. One of the ranches that still has not been raided by the federal authorities, who, for some reason, didn't find it important to investigate further. And that's really all you need to know about the legal justice system, where the Federal Bureau of Investigations is failing to investigate a huge mansion of Jeffrey Epstein that was still there, unbothered and untouched. What's going on here? It's absolute bullcrap. And if you agree, share this video with your friends and family members, because voices like this and independent media organizations like this are becoming harder and harder to find. Voices of independent critical thinking are becoming less available, and the only way to keep them alive is by sharing and being a part of their independent media organization. Because I'm still here. This is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.